One of my very favorite things that we do in the Gravitas group, we do right at the beginning. And this is that we have you tell us your entire life story from beginning to end, the professional, but also the personal, from the day you were born to the present. This is an amazing exercise. We almost never get a chance to tell our story from soup to nuts to anyone. The reason that we do it is we're looking for what we call your origin story, your real origin story. Where did what you're doing now professionally really begin in your life? Where were the seeds planted that made what you're doing now absolutely inevitable? So this also gives us tremendous raw material to work with, tremendous stuff that makes you completely unique when we craft your brand and your message and your way of positioning yourself in the marketplace. So let me give you an example. Scott is somebody that we've worked with. He's a really high-level executive in the healthcare industry, and he's a wonderful speaker. And he's also worked in pharmaceutical industry. He's had wonderful jobs. He's a vice president now of a major chain of healthcare centers that are doing healthcare entirely differently with an older population that is mostly very poor and on Medicare, many on Medicaid. They live in cities and tend to have chronic illnesses. And they are serving this group of people that most doctors don't even want to deal with. They are serving them with white gloves. They're serving them as VIPs, giving them healthcare the way it should be. But the story we found out about Scott, and we've known him a long time, is that his family comes from the poorest section of Appalachia. That's where his roots are. And he grew up raised by a single mother. There was abuse in the family. There was alcoholism. There was chronic poverty. There was drug addiction. I mean, he really had a tough early beginning. He even lost a brother to drug overdose. This is a real part of his life that he never talks about or never did talk about before we started working together. And I think in a way he was embarrassed by. He always felt like he didn't belong with the guys in the C-suites, but he's one of the brightest, most capable people we know. Well, can you see the connection between where he came from and what he dealt with in his early years and what he's doing now? It's the very thing that he never wanted to talk about that makes him so relatable, that makes him have empathy for the people that he's trying to reach and is reaching, and that have them trust him because he gets it. He gets what it's like to be a second-class citizen and to be treated like trash, no matter what your race. So he gets it. And there are a lot of people that he works with, frankly, who don't. You know, they've come from a very different segment of society and they've never really had to deal with those kinds of issues in their entire life. So the very thing that he kept hidden, we encouraged him to put up front and to share and to realize this was his gift. You know, he's a spiritual person and God gave him this background kind of for a reason, you know, because he's uniquely qualified to do what he's doing right now. That's his why. And now that he shares it, he gets invited to speak everywhere. Frankly, he blows everybody out of the water. He's so good and people love what he has to say and they love his heart and they love his emotion. So that's an example of what's possible when you start to share where you came from. I can give you many, many examples, but the thing I want you to get about this is that once you identify why, not only what your why is, but where it comes from, where it really comes from in your life, then you have a unique way to position yourself. People know you in a way that no one else can talk about like that. And there's a power within you. It's like all of a sudden your life makes sense. It lines up. You get that there was a reason for all of this. And there's freedom. There's freedom to not have to hide who you really are anymore and realize that it was actually your greatest gift.